and then I will just be a minute or so I'm looking for something to talk about. So to begin here, because I actually noticed something just like right off the bat, Symmetra teleporter. So this, if we're attempting to do a TP from spawn just to let our teammates get back to the fight sooner, this is not the most efficient TP we could be placing for
Okay.
two main
That,
reasons. Good.
that was not the goal though. That was just so I could get there faster because to start the turret cooldown as soon as
Okay.
possible.
Yeah, so then in that case, you'd still be find more benefit out of doing it up further. So the thing here is that we're not actually getting our maximum distance here with the teleporter, so we're not going to be getting our maximum speed because we're not crossing as much of a distance. So you want to find your max
Mhm.
distance whenever placing TP. And then if this were to, and it also takes us off of the fastest route to get there, as this, it means that we have to curve like up to the left here and then back off to the right. Whereas if I guess if we just kind of come down main and then do this, well, now this actually is going to be the longest distance that you can get, which means that your teleport is going to be getting its max range. It means that you could even leave it up here and then have your teammates being able to use that to get back to point fast sooner. You know, that would give us faster respawns and whatnot. But that'd probably just be the best because it'd be the longest distance. Actually, I think that the second factor, now that I think about it, isn't too bad because you're doing pretty much the same curve whether you go left or right. So that's not too bad. That I would say that maybe people would miss it and not know that it's there, so they might actually not take it if you
Mhm.
were to leave it up. But I'd say the
Got it.
main thing is that it's not actually getting your max distance, which means that you're not getting there fast
Yeah.
as fast
I,
fast as
I
you
am
could.
not. I am not leaving
Mm-hmm.
it up as you will see.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
because I want to do another TP for the fight.
Warding in place.
Okay. Okay. Probably recommend going for those turrets because especially the higher up in ranks you go, those are going to be
Mhm.
destroyed pretty much immediately, right? It's going to start ticking, you know, you might get maybe a little bit of value down here, but you're always looking to play as though you're at a higher rank because if you're not, then you're just going to get punished for it when you do, you know, start climbing. When you do get to that higher rank, you're
Mhm.
not going to be able to compete and you're not going to be able to hang with them. So here in this instance, people are going to, especially the higher up you go, people are going to maybe give you like, you know, those turrets are going to give you like 2% ult charge and then immediately get broken, and then now you have to replace them and you lose the cooldown. So they're really going to get very minimal value. Whereas if you just place all of them on this side of the wall, now this creates a lot more value because if you place them on this side of this archway, when they come through, they can't destroy it from this side very easily, so they have to walk through and then destroy it, which means that it acts as a distraction. It's going to be a lot more difficult. It's going to stay up a lot longer. It's going to mean that when they come through, they have to turn up and around, or if they ignore it, then it gets free damage, and if they look up, then it acts as a distraction, and that allows your team to get free damage. So it gets a lot more value if you just put it on this archway, or if you were to do something like a TP bomb, you'd find a lot more value than just putting it here,
Mhm.
because I would imagine that it's just going to get destroyed pretty much instantly. So you'd be better off setting it up just on the archway than trying to do it uh, right there. So that'd be my recommendation.
Defend objective A. I will shape order from chaos.
Okay,
Teleportation
so
portal open.
now additionally,
Move swiftly.
because of the fact that you're probably going to be holding the choke here, and that you're probably already going to have your turrets set up on the archway, where you have a good place to be setting up your turrets. So you're probably not going to be TP bombing because you're going to have them set up on the arch, and that's probably a good idea to have them set up on the arch. That means that I would probably say that the best value you could be getting here, now, not the only value, it's not a super big deal. Probably the best value you could be getting the TP is to have a TP coming back from spawn. So if we were to do a TP like this, where we have it here and then we have it just crossing this large distance right here, right? That gets your teammates back to the fight. When they die, they can come back probably like 5 seconds sooner, which means, you know, 5 seconds per death really adds up to getting your team back in the fight a lot sooner. So having that there would probably find you a lot of value. The other option you could do would probably be getting TP up to high ground for anybody who wants high ground. So like you could get your Sigma and Zarya up to high ground, but also that might not even get you a ton of value because you and Zarya wouldn't really have any range. Lucio and Echo and Mercy can already get up there, so really the only person that would be benefiting would be Sigma. So ultimately here, probably you'd find your best value out of Teleporter just having it come back from spawn. And then this one is probably like a pretty minimal value Teleporter where like, yeah, you can get a little bit of an off angle over there, but probably wouldn't go secure you very much, right? Noting that those turrets did go down pretty much instantly here, right? It gets value, gets you 4% ult charge, 6% ult charge, and then immediately goes down, right? So now you don't actually have that for when the fight's happening. Okay. Okay, now we do actually get some, get a kill with its CP. That's good. Okay. Here seems as though there's a little bit of a lack of awareness of the Ana who's like right next to us. So Ana's just going to be a lot better of a target to be shooting at than the Baptiste. And the Baptiste is also out of range there. And then we actually end up running out of range on the Ana. We also end up running away from our teleporter, which just puts us in a not great situation. We probably want to be sticking around our teleporter. So if we were just, for example, like hanging out right here and damaging the Ana, or even using cover more would be also a really good, another really good option here. So if we're damaging Ana from right here, notice how Baptiste can't really see us very easily, but Ana and Genji can't really see us that easily. We have a lot more cover we can use, right? Both would be much better options than dancing around in the open. And then also we jump out of range of the Ana, which means that we can't actually damage her, which misses out on a free kill. Okay, so so lack of cover, not playing on your TP, both end up getting us killed there. One or the other would have been good.
Since my team backed up, I figured I had to back up as well.
Yeah, so I think noting that your TP would have actually put you like over here and still probably in danger. That's a good decision, right? That was the right decision to back up to your team and get to point. But the main issue there, now that like I'm looking at a couple other things, is that we don't use cover, right? That's the big main issue here, because we could back up just as easily, but do it right here where Baptiste can't see us nearly as easily, and then we're completely fine there, and then we stay alive.
Okay.
My teleporter is online. Sentry summoned.
Okay. Noting that we're coming back to the fight and setting up at a very long range. So we come in left side here. We're much closer to people. Coming in top right here puts us a mile away from people. So playing at our range and coming back into the fight at our range. I believe that was one of the bigger points that we talked about last time on Symmetra.
Yeah.
It was playing within our range. So just that's making sure that when we're re-engaging, that we're coming back within our range.
Casting a sentry wall. Get them off me.
So I did try to turret one, kind of. I'm still working on those. I'm not doing them very well, but.
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad. I'd say the main thing was that we tossed in a bunch of turrets, and then we didn't have like we didn't have 3 turrets to put into the bomb. So, but besides that, it wasn't too bad. Here we're kind of wrapping back out into the open again. So watch that cover usage, and then also note your distance from the fight. Right, once again, would it not be much better to be right up here near cover and near health pack and near your team, right? And being able to get level 3 on our beam, mowing people down on this front line, versus all the way back here out in the open, away from our team, away from cover, away from health pack, and just throwing in a couple spam right clicks, right? I'd probably say you'd find a lot more value out of being up closer. Okay, and then once again, we die as a result of the lack of positioning, whereas, soldiers start shooting at us and Baptiste start shooting at us, and we're right here. Boop, now they can't see us, we're good, right? Same thing, right here. Boop, now they can't see us, we're good. Right here, now they can't see us, we're fine. Anywhere, and they're here. anywhere over here, we're fine. They can't see us, right? So just cover usage is all over the place. We have a lot of different options. Make sure we're looking to take it rather than just standing out in the open. Very highly recommend. So just as a reminder from the last time, which I would imagine we talked about, good positioning is the usage of cover, bad positioning is the absence of cover. And then so far,
Teleportation
um,
portal opened.
think about how much value we've gotten out of our TPs having it there. I think we got 1 kill out of our first TP, and then nothing out of the second one, and then we didn't really do very much with it outside of that. So we've gotten very out of 2 TPs. We got 1 kill. I'd say very minimal value. Whereas twice now we've actually used the TP to come back from spawn faster. Would not the other 5 members of your team benefit from having that as an option, right? Having all 6 teammates come back faster and faster, versus getting 1 single kill out of 2 TP usages, right? So that is typical. Now, like, let's say compare that to second point here, on second point defense. It's a 2 CP map. Do we really need to be getting back faster? No, not really. Is there any good angle where your TP would be getting you back very much faster? Not necessarily, right? You'd be getting you wouldn't have a very valuable TP to getting back faster to the fight. So therefore, you'd probably be better having TP doing something else, right? Getting
Okay.
value in some other way, right? So it's
Yeah.
mainly go ahead.
So on point A, it's the TP from spawn is it's very valuable. While on point B, I should look to do other things with it.
Yes, exactly, because it's mainly going to be valuable as a TP option when you have long spawns, right? Or like medium range spawns away from where the fight's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then with this TP, um, not that's not too bad of a TP. I don't know if that's max range or not.
Teleportation
Maybe
portal opened.
is yeah, it's possibly max range there, so that's not too bad of a TP option. Just most of the time where I see TPs is just like from that little area where I showed you already.
Warding in place.
Okay. Avoid stacking them immediately on top of each other, right? When you're setting that up, because that means that let's say Reinhardt
Fire strike.
comes around the corner, right, and he just looks up, fire strikes that, and now they're all dead.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whereas if you spread them 1, 1, 1, they're all going to be doing damage and shooting. You know, if you put them close enough to each other, they're all going to be shooting at the same thing, except for now they have to come through Ryan or Fire Strikes, and then there's 2 more, right? And they go doot, 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 takes longer. It's going to get them destroyed a lot, a lot less easy. So spread them out a little bit, stagger them across the top. Notice the range in which we're purposefully putting ourselves at again, right? Entire fight is happening up here. We're all the way back here, right? So noting that range that we are intentionally putting ourselves at. Right, it's not like we are forced to be at this range. It's fine, of course, if you cannot be at close range. Like if our whole team is holding on point, I wouldn't tell you to come all the way up here and hold up here, because then you'd be very far overextended. If you, for example, just were coming back from spawn, it's not like you can choose to be there faster, right? If you were 1 HP and you were forced to back up, it's that there are going to be times where you are forced to be far away. It's when you have the choice to be actively close to them and we choose to be far away that the issue comes in, right? Where left click is much, much more valuable, much more likely to secure kills, and we're sitting at that right click distance.
My teleporter is online.
Okay, charging up right clicks even when we're right on top of people, right? Get that left click out there doing things.
Perfect alignment.
Okay. Noting that we do demech diva and then kind of immediately take our attention off of her, so make sure we're paying attention to that baby diva after we demech her, because that probably equals a very easy kill. Not that that would have really changed very much in that fight, but it probably could have, probably could have made a better kill there. All right, so here, are we? We already discussed TP from spawn, not gonna do a whole lot. Are there really good places to like set up TP or like our turrets like on an archway here? Like, are we gonna be able to do very much with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Below to the no. Well, in the entrance as well. If I could put them,
Mm.
just go forward for them.
Yeah. The
Uh,
entrance.
up a little bit. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, on the
yeah.
entrance here.
Yeah. So they could catch
Yeah.
both the window and the
Mm.
entrance.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, that's definitely valid, right? If you're holding up at the entrance, though,
Yeah.
in this situation, you might not want to be holding up at the entrance
Yeah.
because
I
of
could
your team.
in this situation I could put them below the ledges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where Sigma is on top of where Sigma is, for example,
Yeah.
in the other side.
On both sides, yeah. So definitely not, not too terrible of options. Let's real quick analyze this choke point. Currently, we're not really on a comp that would absolutely love to be holding that choke because of the fact that we're on Sigma, Soldier, and Mercy, all of which are characters. You're kind of on a mixed comp here because you're running two different sets of characters that oppose each other, right? Sigma, Soldier, and Mercy are all spam characters who like to play slowly, who like to play far away because they get more value the slower and further they play. And then you have Lucio, Zarya, and Symmetra, who are all brawl characters who like to play close and get more value the faster the fight goes. So we kind of, as of the moment, have a team comp that's working against itself because we're playing at two different paces and two different distances. But
But
no,
Symmetra
mm,
can spam as well, right? From
y-
the
that's not the range that she prefers. In general,
okay,
she is not a character like it'd be the same thing as Zarya. Zarya can toss in right clicks, but she prefers her left click because it's a lot more efficient. So gonna secure a lot more kills. She prefers the close range, the fast fighting versus the long range spamming because is not, for example, a Sigma going to be doing a lot more than a Zarya at a long range, right? Think, for example, um, you versus the soldier on their team, who's going to be doing better in a long range spam war? Soldier or Symmetra?
yeah, soldier, soldier.
Soldier, by far. So if you are just playing Symmetra, spamming from a range, then you are playing where the other person's just going to have the advantage the entire time, right? So in this
Mhm.
so in this situation, holding up here might not even be the best strategy because of the fact that you have half a team who doesn't like to hold up there. So you might want to be holding point here, in which is definitely a fine option. In which case, I'd say this is like an okay option, but it'd probably still be pretty easy to destroy. Right, 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 right. They're far enough apart to where you can't really, unless somebody's maybe standing like directly in the middle, it's not going to, both sides are not going to be hitting the person, and then they're convenient enough where Reiner could just walk around, swing on them, and then they're dead instantly. So in this situation, through a process of elimination of saying that it's not that there's no other doable options, I would probably say that TP bombing would be the best option here, right? Um,
Yeah, but
mm,
I'm not in a position to TP bomb the soldier from this side. It's going to be hard.
yeah. You
But
don't necessarily, Soldier doesn't necessarily need to be the target of the TP bomb. He could be, doesn't necessarily need to be. And then besides that, the other one we could maybe do is set up a TP to our higher ground. But then even then, like, I don't know, where would we even put that? Like, if you put it here, then it gets destroyed. If you put it here, it gets carried off by the pad. If you
I
put it
could TP from one side to the other of the point.
Then even then, I'd probably still say like minimal value. I'd say it's you maybe getting an off angle versus you TPing behind them as you getting an off angle, getting
Are
like
you sure?
compare the values, right? Like of the two, right? This, you TPing the other side is essentially getting a free off angle, right? It's you getting around their shields, around
The
their
idea
tanks.
is yeah.
Mhm.
I always look for this situations where I can TP from one side of the fight to the other, so I can control more space. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So, like I said, let's compare those two values, right? It's creating an off angle where we can, like you said, control more space. It gets us around the shields, around the tanks, gets us to the things we want to be shooting at, right? Whereas, let's say that we do a TP bomb, right? And we put it behind them, and let's say we go in with the TP bomb for even if it's a couple seconds. Well, now we are doing pretty much the same thing. I'd say it's the difference between an off angle and a flank, which we might not have talked about in the past. And a flank is more dangerous, and a flank takes
Yeah,
longer.
I think I know the
Yeah.
difference. So
Yeah. So in this situation, right, this would be getting us past their shields, past the tanks, straight to the back line, except for this time it's with 3 turrets and yourself to do extra damage. So I'd probably say that you're a lot, and you're also probably going to be closer to them, which all of which probably says that you're going to be able to secure an extra kill or two. The only difference between the two is that this is going to be more sustainable. It's going to last longer.
mhm.
So, I would say that in general here, you'd probably find more value out of the TP bomb, with the TP across point not being too bad of an option.
Okay.
Which we actually do the TP bomb. Note that you don't want to set up the turrets after you place the TP. This
Yeah,
gives them
I thought I
good.
remember.
Mhm.
I think at this point I thought if I in this situation if I just put them down, there's no way to prevent them from being broken without either exposing myself or
Okay, so in this
I could
situation,
I wanted
good.
I could have put it in the corner to the left, but then I don't know. I thought I wouldn't
Yeah.
have
So let's just
the
say we
range or something or
let's just say
the
we like
sight
we
line.
yeah, let's just say we like back around this corner real quick. We go boom, boom, boom on the floor, and then look, free TP right here, right next to the Baptiste, right?
Okay, okay,
Good
okay.
angle, right? So just know that we probably could do that just as easily, right?
Hmm.
And then also additionally note that we place the TP a little far away, right? So bad TP placement, right? We want to
Okay.
be watching out for that, making sure it's not too far away.
This place is walled.
Okay, still charging up those right clicks when we're within range of left click. Now we're going for left clicks, which is good. Okay. Very nice. Notice where we actually do things is when we get in behind them, we're left clicking them. We're it's kind of the things that we've been talking about, right? That we actually is where we actually get value. We're within range. We're left clicking. We went for the TP bomb, and we went through the turret, or sorry, the TP, right, and went in with it. That's where we actually do a lot in the fight, right? And you see a lot of the value behind that, right?
Hmm. This is a loss though, by the way.
Hmm.
This is not the one.
Okay.
Hello.
I played 3 games yesterday. I got
Warding in
two
place. Teleportation
two wins and
portal
3 losses.
open. We
But
move
out of
to
the
the
when I was 2-2, I was gaining SR regardless. So
Okay. Hmm. Which is good. That means you're below diamond, right? So
yeah, I'm gold. I'm gold.
yeah, that means that you're getting performance based this star. That's good. Okay. I'd probably avoid going for that TP plate because again, it doesn't really get you very like here. The only thing this is probably gonna get us is ult charge, right? So like we can come in here. We aren't even very close to our ultimate, so it's not like we're playing for getting our ult. So we're currently at 20. We go through, we do some extra damage. We could probably do some of that with our just our right clicks too. So let's say we get 15. Let's say there we just got 15 percent to our ultimate. We're not anywhere close to getting our ultimate. So is that 15% to getting your ult worth not having any of your abilities for when the fight begins? Because now we're not going to have any abilities at all for when the fight actually starts here, right? Notice the fight's about to start. They come in here and they engage, right? We play and we get to place one turret and that's it, right? They come in, they bomb, fight's beginning, we're dead a person, and we only have one single turret and nothing's set up. We don't have any of defensive. When we could have probably put it, like we said before, maybe lined that wall with them. We could have been setting up for a better TP bomb during the fight. So I'd probably recommend don't try to go for a TP bomb like in between fights. It's not gonna work too well for you unless you know that the in between the fight is gonna be like a super long, like if you're staggering them or something like that.
I am restored. रक्षा प्रणाली संरेखित करना.
Oh, so good good TP bomb. I like that. Make sure that when we're coming through that we're just ready to back up if needed. You still have a tick and a half. Don't feel like you have to hard commit here. Whereas we get slept, and then note that you can even when slept, you can still teleport. So here we can just teleport back
You
and
can?
yes, you can. You can
Oh
teleport when
wow.
you're in any stun. You can teleport when you're grabbed, when you are shattered. So if you, for example, are in a grab, you can just teleport your entire team out of the grab, right?
Okay.
So through any stun you can teleport. So here we could still teleport back and then keep ourselves safe.
Yeah, I didn't even try. I thought
Mhm.
I wanted to. I remember thinking I want to teleport away, but I can't because I'm slept. But I should have just pressed the button
Yeah.
Casting a sentry wall.
because I actually thought that at that moment.
Mhm. Now, just making sure that you're aware of this. You probably are though with your time played. You're aware that you recharge your left click on shields. Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
All right. Just making sure, because sometimes that's like one of those techie things. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that one didn't go well.
Okay. Thinking, trying to think a little bit about the value there. Would we, with that teleport getting over here, is this where we want to be positioning wise? Like, does that really, I guess, thinking about it, does this put us in a more beneficial position than being behind the choke?
No, no.
No, I
The only thing is if 10 seconds pass, I could TP to point or something like that.
Hmm. Okay, I'd probably say that you'd find more value out of TPing to their high ground. Because then we can immediately, like, especially if you communicate it with your team, you could get 6 people to just instantly be on top of the Ash and the Mercy.
Okay.
Right? So that's an option. You can also look to TP bomb the high ground if you get Sigma to put up a shield. So, like, you could make sure that you're positioning next to Sigma, and then as soon as you see him put up shield, then you can just start tossing turrets on the floor, put up the TP bomb, and then boom, you can just go through and TP bomb the top, right? Additionally, other options to work with, right? Here, if you just push forwards an inch, you can TP directly to point. If you just walk forwards and hug point cart here, or not cart, whatever, truck here as cover, you can just immediately TP to point, right, and come over here and just have your whole team be able to just run through. That's another option, right? So again, measuring out these different approaches, probably gonna find more value out of our TPs. So let's see if we can come up with some ways, because we've come across a lot of different instances where we could have had better TPs. So make sure that you're going through kind of a process of elimination, thinking through all the different possible TPs you could do and which one is the best, which one's going to get you the most value, and that's what you want to be thinking about, right? And you have a couple different kinds of TPs, right? You have a TP bomb. You have a TP bomb where you go through with the turrets. You have your TP for like just movement and traveling. You have your TP back from spawn, and you have your TP to like get your whole team somewhere, right? Like, so you have a bunch of different and then you can combination between them. You can do this and that, right? There's a lot of different options you can do with TP, right? Those are just some of them, and you want to be thinking through which one is going to be getting me the most value here. Here in this situation, I'd say like you have a couple different options. It's just that we choose one of the weaker options to go with, right? That doesn't really get us a ton of value where we could be getting a ton of value. Okay. Be careful not to run into his swing range. Your beam range is longer than his swing range. Don't intentionally run into his swing range if possible.
Yeah, he could have killed me there. He didn't.
Yep. Yep.
He was scared of Diva,
Right.
but Diva wasn't much of a threat to him.
I'd probably also say that we need to work on the accuracy of our right click in particular. Our left click looks as though it's decent enough when we get on top of people, but our right click, we have a very low success rate, a low accuracy with landing our right clicks, right? And maybe the exception of like a big old group of people, because we're very rarely landing them. So I guess let's go over like two different things to talk about that. Oh, hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? I'm still unable to hear you. Hello? Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Okay, it's working now, I think.
Hi. Yeah, I changed the region to like Netherlands. So hopefully
Oh,
that helped a little bit. I didn't see one for usually there's like a Europe one, but I don't see Europe as an option. All right. So, yeah, when was the last point in which you could hear me?
uh, we were uh, like, uh, yeah, I had just picked up the mega, teleported to the, yeah, I was teleporting to the other side and picking up the mega.
Okay, so I was saying here that I'm noticing that your right clicks have you're very inaccurate with them. Like, I'm noticing very low accuracy with right clicks. So we're gonna talk about a couple things that we'll do with that. Last time, did we talk about sensitivity at all? Is that something we discussed?
No, we didn't. We
No, we
did
didn't.
talk about the size of the balls
Hmm.
to make them
Okay,
easier
yeah.
to connect
Okay,
and the more
so
damage.
yeah, which I'm definitely noticing you're doing more fully charged, which is very good. Mouse sensitivity. Do you know what your sensitivity and DPI are?
Um, I think I'm. I think I'm around something like 4,000 EDPI. EDPI.
4,000. Okay, so 4,000 EDPI is actually not very high at all. So that's completely fine. If you're at 4,000, it looks a bit shaky, especially like when you're up on top of people. So it doesn't. I'd probably say maybe appears as though it's higher, though maybe that's a different thing. Maybe it's like
Yeah.
a lower quality mouse, then maybe it adds in shake or something of that sort, or that's just how you aim. But noticing that we're missing a lot of our right clicks, so let's analyze a little bit of how we're missing our right clicks. I'm gonna take a look. Okay.
Much better.
So in general, noting so like I'm note that sometimes we just don't even fire them in the general direction of people, right? Like we fire right clicks that we know probably aren't gonna land, right? So like notice this one, this for that first one was fine. Then we fire like one kind of into the floor when we knew Ash ran around that corner, and then we fire another one into the floor here when we know that Ash is nowhere near where that orb is going, right? So in general, I've also seen that in the past, where we're just kind of firing off a couple when they're not even going where we want them to go. That one's fine. We're trying to get her. Right, that one's fine. Right, so there's a couple of good ones there, right, and then just a couple just go into nothingness. Also note here that we're aiming into the floor, so that gets in a little bit of a crosshair placement. Did we talk about crosshair placement at all last time?
No, we didn't.
All right, so let's talk about a couple things. We're a couple different things we'll go over here. So,
I'll be honest. I
Mhm.
I usually try to do those things more when I'm playing with some kind of hit scan.
Mhm.
But Symmetra is the only projectile hero I
Mhm.
play, and I find it pretty difficult to hit the projectiles.
Yeah. So when it comes to in general, right, crosshair placement is just aiming a crosshair in the place where you're gonna be able to hit the easiest shots. On characters, they can hit headshots that wants to be their head because headshots do like 2 times the damage of body shots, and you want to
Mhm.
do that. So you aim at head level and you walk around aiming here. Now Symmetra cannot hit headshots, so instead you aim at the body. Right, that way it's the bit largest surface area. It means that you're going to be able to hit them the easiest. There we were just aiming here, which means that we right click, we charge it up, and then it goes into the floor, which that's still the damage somehow. But it's going to go into the floor and then not really do very much, right, if we're just aiming here. So we want to make sure that when we're aiming at body level so we can actually hit our shots into them. So that's just one thing, is make sure we're not aiming too low at the floor. And then on a character like Sombra, like we went over last time, then you'd aim at head level so you actually can hit headshots. But then besides that as well, there's another part to cross replacement, which is aiming where we know people are going to be. That means that when we know bots top right, we know bots coming left side, we can charge up a right click and already be aimed around this corner so that as soon as the bot comes around this corner, right, we can hit that shot. That's called pre-aiming. Aiming where we know they're going to be. Same thing if we know they're on our left. We're not just going to come out here and then do a slow pan to the left.
Hello,
We're
the
going...
stream stopped.
No, stream is not stopped. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello, hello.
Hello?
I can't hear you.
Hello?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now,
Hi.
but I cannot see the stream though.
You cannot see the stream still? Um,
Let me.
let me try
Yeah.
restreaming.
Okay.
Is Discord telling you that you have a bad connection, like on the bottom left?
No, it says voice connected.
What's
I can see the
what's the
stream though.
on the bars? What does it show on the bars? They should, if you hover over it, it should show your MS.
63.
63. Okay, so you actually have a better connection than me. That's interesting. Okay. Um. So let's get started then. So when when did it cut out?
Okay. You told me about pre-aiming. Yeah,
Framing. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
an interesting concept. I'll try to think about it.
Yeah. So, same thing here, right? We're coming out. We want to just be instantly looking to the right rather than doing a slow pan, right? When people are below us, right? So here, when these guys are on a slope, same way we look down on a torb and up on a tank, right? If we're hitting headshots, right? We're going to look down at these guys so that we don't just go over their heads. So when we turn this corner, we're just already aiming straight at them, right? So we're not having to readjust and make shots very much easier. Now, additionally, let's talk about leading our shots a little bit, because I'm noticing as well that some of our shots are just, we're not leading them. So when it comes to your right clicks, it is a projectile, which means that it has a travel time. When you are right next to somebody, there is no time to travel needed, right? So we can aim directly at somebody and be just fine because there's very little space for it to travel. So we hit them instantly. So that means that, like I said, you can aim directly at them. But if we were to try to aim directly at somebody when they are, a little bit away from us, right? Let's see what happens. It just goes sailing past them. So we aim directly at them, sails past them rather than at them. So when there's distance between us, now we have to aim ahead of where they're moving, right? And the further away they are, we have to aim further and further ahead. So if somebody's all the way over there, we have to aim very much far. Oh, whoopsie. Someone stole it. When they're that far away, we have to aim much further ahead so that by the time they reach... Bros, people keep stealing it. By the time it gets to
Yeah,
them,
I got it. I got
right?
what
Yeah,
what
you
you
get
mean.
what I'm saying, right? So you have to make sure they're aiming ahead, right? Not on them, and then that way we can actually hit them. A lot of the times they're trailing behind people when we're firing off right clicks, right?
Hmm.
There'll be this person right here, and we'll be firing off the right click right there, right? And then it just goes nowhere near them. So we want to make sure we're
Hmm.
aiming ahead of where we know that they're moving. Think about where are they trying to go, and then aim ahead of where that is. Besides that, make sure we're just not firing off right clicks when right clicks aren't going to do anything, right? So like sometimes we'd just be doing this, right, and we'd be doing that, and then we do a good
But just
one.
if I'm just like when I'm charging
Mhm.
right click and I'm not going to fire them, should I reload to cancel or
You can melee to cancel or reload to cancel. Yep. Hmm. That way you're just not wasting ammo, so you actually have ammo for when you need it, right? So if you know that your right click's not going to do anything, use that time to reload, or just melee cancel so you're not wasting the energy, right? Or not the
Which
energy, the
one is
ammo.
usually better, the reload or melee?
Reload takes longer than melee does, right? So you have to consider: am I just trying to do a very fast cancel? Because I can charge up right click, do that, and then immediately be back to shooting, or I can charge up and then reload and then have a little bit more of a delay. So it depends.
Okay.
Do you have time for the delay, or do you not have time for the delay? If you have time and there's a lull in time, then you always reload because you want to have ammo for when you can actually damage and kill people.
Okay.
Yep. All right. All right. So we were on Volskaya.
Yeah.
Traveling to Volskaya, ready for battle.
I am the storm.
I believe we were here, yeah.
प्रकाश से जीवन
Alright, so whole team's up there on high ground.
I remember here looking back, I should probably have jumped down after my team died because I took long time to die before.
Yeah, probably be a good idea, because their whole team's dead. Don't want to stagger ourselves. Did Anna purposefully or accidentally sleep us there? I'm leaning on the accidentally, but it's possible it was purposeful. I mean, we almost made it out, but no. Yeah, probably would have been better to die.
Yeah, at that point maybe the team could have pushed up though
Uh,
because
In
because
gen in
yeah.
general, the general rule is if you think you can get out, go ahead and try to get out. If you don't think you can get out, then let them kill you. In general, it's probably like if we're just thinking about the likelihood that we get out, we could get out, but it's maybe like a 30% chance we get out. Is it worth going for that 30% chance and, staggering ourselves, having a high chance of staggering ourselves just to save, 200 ult charge from them? Or not, sorry,
Mhm.
200 HP's worth of ult charge. Probably not
Yeah,
worth it.
I could have jumped down and not given them charge right.
Yep. And you spin back with their team sooner.
casting a sentry wall.
Another thing I'm noticing is in my games, if I communicate, I end up getting worse results than if I don't because people get toxic extremely fast in these games. I don't know if I've just been unlucky in that sense, but people get if the first round doesn't go well, they get toxic extremely fast. So if I just don't join the chat, it's better for my psyche, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to honestly, like in a ranked environment, doesn't matter. If you're getting to like team play levels, then it matters. Ranked does not matter at all if you talk or not. It might be, I would say that in general, it's a handicap if you do not communicate, because you can get, I guess, let's say rather than a handicap, it's a boost in value if you do communicate, because you can communicate important things that can gain you value. And then there's ways to mitigate getting tilted, such as just immediately muting somebody as soon as they start being toxic, right? Or so show signs that they would be toxic, because it's just very easy with a click of a button. You can do that. You have report, you have avoid, you have hide chat as an option. And then if you feel like you are excessively getting tilted, then in that case, then leaving chat just might be the best option, right?
Hmm.
But even then, if you feel like you're excessively being tilted, that might be an issue that you might want to look to fix, in which case you might want to be in chat to look to work on it.
Okay, yeah, there's things like
Mm,
we are something is not working, and I'm playing, for example, Bastion, which is
mm,
or Symmetra, and someone's
mm,
going to go, someone's going like um,
mm,
switch off Symmetra to McCree, and I'm like,
mm,
and I think to myself, okay, dude, you're going to tell me to play a specific hero? I can't even play that. At that
yeah.
time, I told
Mm,
them, okay, I'm switching, but I can't play McCree. I switched to Sombra, but people try to
mm,
micromanage you to that point. Okay, you play this,
yep.
you play that.
That's when you can mute them, hide chat, and then, like I said, if needed, you can leave voice chat. All
I
different
just find that
options.
I get better results
Mm,
because when I'm sure if others communicate and I don't talk, that's a value gain if they are not toxic. But usually when I join chat, it's so I can communicate.
mm,
Uh, and if I'm communicating, I usually I sometimes stop focusing on my play itself and try to give out call outs and expect people to maybe help with those call outs. So if I say Sigma is isolated to the left, then I will try to focus on Sigma. Otherwise, if I just see him isolated and I know I'm alone, I'm going to do something else, and which might be more valuable if people don't do the same thing as me.
yes. So in general, communication's not the most important thing at Gold, because you have more important gameplay issues to fix before communication becomes necessary. The higher
Hmm.
up you go, that's not going to be an issue. Currently, I now when I do feel like I'm not performing and I need to focus on my gameplay, then I'll stop communicating as much. Though in general, when I am performing on my average gameplay, communication isn't difficult because of how much I've dedicated 4,000 hours to the game. Communicating comes naturally now, right?
Hmm.
So as you play and as you get better, it'll become more natural to where you don't need to put too much brain power into communication. But as of the current moment, you're correct. Not very necessary to communicate.
So you're saying since communication is a gaming skill like aim and like positioning, I can work on other things first and then work on communicating
Yeah.
when it
Mhm.
becomes important. Right?
Yes. Communication, as of the moment, is a skill that is not as important because you're in ranked and you're in gold. Not a ton of people are going to be communicating anyways. And then therefore, like, your communication is not an essential skill. The higher up you go, and then it might become more essential, because the higher up you go, the less of a skill difference there is between people, the more tiny little efficiency improvements you need to get better. So communication might become a lot more handy to be able to help you climb. Um,
Mhm.
though of course in a ranked environment is never a
The
necessity,
true
could be helpful if
understanding
you learn how
is
the
the
skill of how to do it correctly without getting distracted.
I'll be honest. When it comes to gaming, I feel other people in younger people and people my age as well, but other people have better gaming intelligence than me in the sense that they understand what is value instantly
Hmm.
uh, in each game they play, and I can't do that. It's not that I'm lacking in intelligence. I'm actually pretty confident in my
Hmm.
intelligence. It's not bad at to, to, so to
Yeah,
speak.
it's a different
I
type of intelligence, and
Yes.
intelligence can be learned and trained, and that's how intelligence works. So that's the goal of the coaching sessions, right? Is for me to share the knowledge and say, yeah, this is where you would
just
find the
about
most
the
value,
truth spoken.
and the more you practice at it, the faster and faster you're able to find that value yourself, right, and identify where there is value.
Double kill.
When it comes to value, I usually think
Sentries
try to.
loaded.
I don't know if this is correct. I try to think
Teleport
value
online.
of value in this game
Open
as
for
time,
business.
because if I die, it's time that I lost. If I take their attention, it's time that I'm taking from them. In exchange for my time, of course.
It's one form of value, I would say. Yep. Um,
Okay.
it's not the only value. It's a form of value because you dying is a lack of time, but then at the same time, you could also say that it's a lack of. You could say that dying in general is a lack of value in other senses because you have a lack of, like, I would say one of the primary ways that you get value on DPS is getting kills. Right, that is probably the primary way to get value, and by dying, you are having a lack of value, the inability to get kills. So therefore, that's why dying would be bad. So yes, time is a factor, and time can definitely be a piece of value, right? Because you can definitely waste their time and whatnot by like staggering, for example. But I'd say probably primarily on DPS, the biggest factor is going to be your killing, whereas I'd probably say on tank, time is a time and space, right? Like creating space for your team becomes more of a factor in value.
What about with Sombra? Should I be thinking the same way? Because she gets, I feel, value from attention, I guess.
She doesn't necessarily, like, her entire, like, if you were to think like what is your focal point on Sombra, would you say that you'd get very much value on Sombra by running around in their backline, never shooting anything, or I guess let's say you do shoot, but let's say you never get any kills, you just run around in their backline, shoot a bunch of people, and hack a couple things once in a while? Do you feel like you're going to be carrying on Sombra that way?
Uh, to be honest, I know you expect me to say no, but what I'm thinking is if I can take the attention of like 2 to 3 people for a long time without dying, even if I don't kill anything, I think I'm doing good usually.
Okay, so you take the attention out of 2 to 3 people, right, and for a long period of time. Um, do you feel like, especially the higher up in ranks you go, you're going to be able to effectively stall 2 to 3 people out? Like, do you think that they're gonna dedicate 2 to 3 people onto you for 10 plus seconds for you to be able to do that? I would say at higher ranks, that's not going to be a reality. They're going to put maybe 1 to 2 people on you, and they're probably going to pressure you out fast or just
By
ignore
the
you.
way,
They're not going to chase
I
you for
almost
you.
forgot. I almost forgot something important. In this game, we're not going to have the time to look at the whole game, as you know. But is there any chance we could look at my defense overtime rounds? Because I felt that I didn't understand what happened in that place specifically, especially in the first push. Because I thought I was doing really good, but then we got rolled. Yeah.
So currently we have 2 minutes left on the session. Do you said the
We
entire
could
overtime round?
No, just the start of the overtime rounds. Yeah, just you
So
could you could like depending on whether you have a session afterward, you could take like 10 minutes from the next session or something. And
all right. So we were in Volskaya. So where's the overtime round at?
Traveling to Volskaya
I'm
area
not
for
sure.
battle.
Our attack here? Is that what you're asking?
No, our defense. Our defense. I am on Sombra.
So when it goes into overtime, is that what you're asking?
No, the round itself, the start of the rounds, of the extra rounds.
Okay. First
Yeah,
off,
here.
you could be doing some extra damage here, but we'll speed through a little bit.
I'm trying to use cover here.
Okay. Probably hacking not too valuable target. Probably could be hacking the Reinhardt instead. Probably find a lot more value. Okay.
Yeah, we just got rolled there.
Probably don't. I think we talked about this last time, but tanks are not our primary focus here. We're coming in probably intentionally when we're in the backline there. We're not just farming for our ult because we're nowhere near our ult and the fight is happening. We want to be shooting at those other targets. Here we're primarily focusing tanks, which means that we're not getting, as we discussed, we're not getting value. Yes, we have 1 to 2 people looking at us, but if we just have 1 to 2 people looking at us, that's a neutral value, right? So let's. I want to kind of focus on that because that seemed to be something that we were misunderstanding here. You going 1 for 1 is not value. You going 1 for 2 is not value. Getting a 2 KD on DPS is really terrible. you're doing
Mhm.
very, very little if you have a 2 KD on DPS. And
Mhm.
in the same way, if you're just in a fight and you have 2 people looking at you and that's it, and you don't do anything else, you are not going to be doing carrying value to win that fight. Because then all they have to do is just turn back to the fight, and then you didn't accomplish anything. Or
Okay.
they just look at you and pressure you out, and then they get value because now you're out of the fight, right? So how you get value in Overwatch is by getting kills and securing kills, and Sombra does that by hacking things, and that secures kills. That's how she finds value, by getting EMPs,
Mhm.
by distracting, yes, is a form of value, right? And then also getting kills. But distraction, right, isn't the only way that you do things on Sombra. And here we spend too much time shooting at the other we shoot at the tanks way too much when we should be shooting at other things because the fight was happening, right? We discussed that
I
a lot.
thought I was doing pressure. I mean, they were getting damage. The healers at the start took damage from me.
We damaged them for like a very minimal amount of time. We didn't really damage them a ton. We're also playing outside of our primary range of focus here, right? But we shoot at them for a second, and then we immediately swap back to Reinhardt, and then we're on, and then we look at her for a second, and then we look back away, and then we're back on Diva, and then we're on Reinhardt. So we're actually on Reinhardt and Diva for like 3/4 of that, and then when we were looking at the other targets, it wasn't for very long, and we didn't focus them down.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, that's the emphasis. Was there more that you wanted to look at here? Because you ended up
No,
losing.
that's the thing, because I thought I was doing very good there, but I couldn't get them to stop or to halt the push or anything.
Mhm.
I just
Yeah, I would say that you're just not going to be doing a ton just by running around, right? Like you're going to find the value from actually securing the kills, because you can both like if you were to sit like ask me which is more value for you to get 3 kills on a fight or be distracting 3 people,
Mhm.
without hands down, 3 kills is more value, right?
Yeah.
Because you're keeping them dead where they can do absolutely nothing, versus just distracting 3 people means that they could just still be getting a lot of value in that fight, right? So
Okay.
securing kills is how you're going to be getting value, and you can be a distraction as well, which adds in. And typically what the distraction does is it allows for other kills to happen, so it's still ultimately coming back to kills. Okay. So is that all does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So then let's do a really quick roundup review. Actually, you know what? We have I believe you have notes. Yeah. So
Yeah. You can just send me the notes
yeah.
then,
So I'll get
'cause
you
I never read it.
your notes, and we'll go through that. But just like I guess as the main points, probably thinking that on Symmetra, positioning was major one, making sure that we're getting close range and whatnot. And then Sombra, making sure that we're not just existing and being a distraction, right? Those are maybe the two
Okay.
main things I would say across the two. Things to work on, right, is making sure that we're doing more than just existing on Sombra and just being a distraction on Sombra. And then on Symmetra, making sure that we are actually within range of doing things. And then besides that, also knowing when to use the right TP was another big one, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And actually, I don't think we even really saw very many ultimates, so ultimates wasn't really a thing that we even discussed. I'll get you all your notes in a moment here. Any additional final questions to work on?
No, I think that's enough for
All
now.
right. So then I'm gonna stop recording.